And we are live. And in the comments already are two people that we've been talking about before the show started. So, welcome, Dan and EL. I hope your ears are burning. Um, but more importantly, we are graced today to have Ian Patterson on the show with us. He doesn't know us too well, so he accepted the invitation. Um, Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good.
I guess we have to ask because you're wearing a toque. Where are you calling from?
Colorado. So I'm in the basement. It's a little cold, but outside it's actually 70. So the toque is probably not necessary. My hair is also just pretty messy.
Well, on this show you have hair, so flaunt it.
I was trying to blend in. That's really what it was.
We
Now,
respect that.
you before we get into the writing, I guess we'll start right with what you do for a day job, or is writing your day job?
No, so I
I'm getting
am.
an echo. I hear myself twice.
I do not.
Is that
No?
for me?
You're just fine for
Okay, never
me.
mind.
Cool. So I'm a mechanical engineer. I design mountain bike parts for high-end mountain bikes. I've done that for almost a decade now. Before that, I worked with hybrid vehicles, so all over the place. Um, and I'm actually a project manager now. So my wife always likes to harass me that I'm no longer an engineer, but
That's right. What company do you work for?
I work for a company called SRAM. They're
Oh
pretty.
yeah. Shrimp Red and all that. Yeah,
Yep, that's us. Yep.
cool. So your bikes all have the really good kit. You got like the electronic shifters and the whole bit.
It's pretty nice being, part of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do all the people you ride with ask you to help like look at their bike and fix it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say pretty frequently.
Hey,
And
you
that's
designed this fucking thing, right? Can you fix this?
exactly.
Piece of shit. What is
He
up
said
with
it was
this?
good.
All right, so EL, who we will actually be nice to because he's nice to us, unlike some people, Dan, wants to know, he wants to see your book cover, and because you have a picture behind you, he wants to know what that's about.
So that is actually some art that the company was clearing out. And I always take free art because it's nice to put in a room. My wife and I are very bad at decorating. So stuff like that is always a go-to. I think it's Switzerland. I wasn't there for that though. And then
You
yeah,
should, you should go. Switzerland's freaking gorgeous.
and the guitars are my wife's hope that one day she will play guitar again. We both used to play, but we have a kid. Yeah, it's
How old's
there's
your child?
she's almost 2.
Okay, so you got like 10 more years. And I would wait until she's about 13 and then decide you want to learn again. And she will just go like, "Oh God, stop it. Why are you like this?" And you can have fun with that for like 5 years.
That sounds great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So I will tell you one of the high points of my life is I took my nephew. We went to, of all places, like a Subway, and he was 14, 15, and he goes, Uncle Mike, I go to school with those two girls there. Can we go to a different Subway? I'm like, no, we're not going to a different Subway. So we just get in
Incredible.
line, and I'm like, I don't know, Jeff. Do you think you can eat a whole foot long? I mean, you're pretty puny, and and I'm saying it loud enough that they can hear. And he's like, Uncle Mike. I'm like, those girls are cute. You want to talk to them? I can go sit in the car or something if you want to talk to. And they're like going, like laughing, like, hurry, get our food, let's run. He's like,
Mortified.
Uncle Mike. Oh my God, is the most satisfying thing I have done in 20 years.
I can't wait.
It is wonderful, and you just play the whole oblivious, like, no, I don't understand how you could possibly be embarrassed by this. I was never a teenager. Oh, it's glorious.
I'll keep this in mind. We're waiting for like cogent sentences. That'll be a big step forward.
hmm Two is 2 to 4, 2 to 5. Those are fun years though because they'll just say some shit just out of the blue,
Yeah,
right?
great.
It's just like, and you know where they got it from. You can't hide that.
Yeah, right.
Can't blame it on school. So, as an engineer,
hmm
that was what? Hold on, it'll come to me. Do you use the metric system working with bikes and everything because they're so European?
we do only use the metric system.
Only
I
the
think
metric system.
as an engineer, it would be pretty uncommon to use imperial units. Like maybe
Yeah.
you're working in HVAC in America. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Because I mean, I've heard people say before, it's always Americans who say this, obviously. They say there are two types of people in the world: those who use the metric system and those who have been to the moon, which I think is probably one of the most douchebaggery things you could ever say. But I mean, have you heard that in your line of work, or do people not get into that?
I think the biggest conflict we have is, this is, I think, true of every job I've ever worked. The machine shop always uses American units. Everywhere else in the company uses metric units. And then and you have to talk together. It's always fun.
Why the hell would they use imperial units if everything's...
It's a great question.
Is that why things break so much?
You know,
I mean, I've never ridden a bike with SRAM. I don't have that kind of cash. But
thankfully, all our stuff is made in Taiwan, and they definitely use the metric system there.
all right, okay. So it's designed here in the States,
Yep.
but we can't actually fabricate it.
Definitely not at the volumes we're trying to hit.
And tariffs are going to do what to your business?
Honestly, not much, we think.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because most of our stuff is sourced in Taiwan, and most of the tariffs are applying to China. So it's an evolving situation would be
Okay.
the business answer.
All right. All right, enough about that then. Tell us about transcendence.
You mean
Transference.
transference?
Transference. You could tell us about transcendence too if you've read it.
I would gladly tell you about that too. But so transference is, it imagines a world where diseases can be transferred, and the caste system that creates and the people that fight against it. It's a dystopian sci-fi novel, kind of a parable of healthcare and market in a market economy.
So you mean transferred, like if I have measles because I live in Texas and stupid, I can say, I don't want measles, I want to transfer it to Mike.
Exactly. And you would only do that if you had enough money to be able to pay the person taking it. And so as you go up in disease, let's say complexity, you know, how sick it's going to make you, the cost goes up as well.
So, I mean, if someone really didn't care, right, and they just wanted to set their family up with generational wealth, they could line up like a cancer patient and an AIDS patient and whatever, and just get them one after the other, knowing that they're going to have like just a few days.
So, and that's where a lot of this happens, is the lower classes survive off of taking these illnesses on from the higher classes.
Uh-huh.
And it drives them into this generational poverty, short lifespans, all those sorts of things that come with that.
I would think it would make millionaires.
If they don't die.
Well, no, I mean, they're out of their families, right?
Right. And that's a lot of the, like, as a father passing on to their family, they might sacrifice themselves and take on stage 4 cancer, and then leave that wealth for their family.
Yeah. What the hell were you on when you thought of that concept?
I guess I
Was it
have.
just the thin air up there?
It was a little bit of thin air. It's the Colorado air for sure. I have some history with the healthcare system. I watched my mom go through cancer, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and then she passed 5 years ago from it. So a lot of like inner experiences with that. Yeah, top of mind.
Well, but we have the best healthcare system in the world.
The best.
You know what I'm just thinking? I'm like, thank God this didn't exist when I was a kid, because it'd be like, hey, do you want tuberculosis? I'll give you a quarter so you can go up to the store and buy a Coke.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
yeah.
Oh, a quarter.
Yeah. So in this book, did people take advantage of children and everything? Because apparently in Florida, they're bringing back child labor laws so they can do all the work that the migrants who get sent home.
I should have
do
thought of
anymore.
that. That's a good angle, and I didn't put it in there, and
No.
I think that would have been good.
Well, there's always a sequel.
There's always a sequel. There is a sequel. It gets
Okay.
bigger and weirder, for sure.
So the last book came out when?
So the last book came out October 1st, 2024, and the next book will be out May 20th, fingers crossed, this year.
Oh, nice. Do you got a cover for that, or have you not made that public yet?
I haven't made it public yet. That's why the fingers are crossed. So I'm finalizing the cover right now with my cover artist, and then yeah, it should be done.
Is there going to be a third in the series, or is two it?
So I've written a prequel. I said it was going to be a duology, and then I wrote the prequel, and then I already have visions of another book in the series. So we'll see. For now, though, it is kind of the core duology, and I think I want to write more in that universe.
Yeah.
You know, Douglas Adams had the fifth book in the increasingly misnamed Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy trilogy. So, you know, you can always go with that angle.
I wish I could live up to that heritage.
Yeah, just do it in the same world and just start a different series with it. It's all good.
Yeah, Sanderson.
Yeah, then you can tell people it's a different entry point. You can read either one you want first.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't do like a 7-book series. That's dumb.
And number them like 4.5.
I mean, honestly, it impresses the hell out of me when people write 7 books in a series, because I'm like, I had a vision for 1 and 2, and then the prequel kind of filled itself in pretty reasonably to me. But then, like, having the vision for 7 in a row, that's a lot of planning.
No, that's laziness, because you just can't figure a way to get it done sooner. Right.
So
my current series, I was going to do 12, right? And I had kind of a very rough index card outline for 12 books. And in the midst of writing book 3, I kind of went, I cannot do this 12 times. And there's no reason to do it 12 times. I can do it in 5, you know, and still tell the same story I want to tell. And then all the excess stuff that I had laid out in the first 2 books for 12, I will just throw that ahead a bunch of generations and use it then. But yeah, there's no 2 is good.
So I will warn you, Ian. I think you're starting to discover this. My series was going to be a 4-book series. I've now written 4 of the 7. I'm hoping that it doesn't grow any longer.
Right.
Because I would like to actually finish a series. That would be great.
You also tried a funky numbering system too, didn't you?
No, well, I did, and I abandoned
This
that.
is book 2.5.
Yes, that was just bad all the way around. And I still have books with that numbering system. So you can now buy books 1, 1.5, 2, and 4.
Collector's item.
1.5. I love that. I've been wondering how to number my prequel.
0. Book 0.
0.
That's what I assumed. Like,
yeah, comic books have done that for years.
Or
but
just
then
call it prequel.
I'm envisioning like a big hardcover with all of them in there. And then I'm like, do I put it in the 3rd slot? Because it is kind of informed by the other 2. Or do I put it at the beginning? Because it is a standalone. So, you know, future thoughts.
How long is your current book? Your book 1?
Book 1 is about 60,000 words, so 250 pages.
Okay, so Mike could easily read that then.
Yes, that is well within the acceptable limit.
Mike has a hard 500-page limit.
I respect that. I tend to prefer shorter books. I will stretch that for, you know, a Gene Wolfe or an epic of some sort, but like, yeah.
My rule of thumb is if it's over 500, you need to get a meaner editor.
Yeah, and I tend to be an underwriter, so I mean, I think the first draft was at like 40,000 words, and it got added to from there.
Yeah.
I think though, I mean, so where did your writing stem from, right? I mean, how did you get into this as a mechanical engineer?
This is a good story. I actually wanted to be an author as a kid, and then I took the SATs, and I was really good at math.
Fucking SATs.
Yeah, I know, and really good at science also. So I wound up pursuing engineering in school because I knew it would land me like a pretty good job.
You wanted to live in a house.
I wanted to live comfortably, and I don't regret that. It's been like a challenging, invigorating, you know, job. So it's pretty good. But since then, since I was a teenager, I've wanted to write, and I did it in fits and spurts, and then finally, when our daughter was born, I was like, I'm getting pretty old. Like, I'm not making any progress here. And so I actually started 2 years ago after she was born. And it's just been, yeah, complete whirlwind since then.
I mean, so you'll start writing longer, I think, as you kind of get into it a little bit more and start realizing that, oh yeah, I could have done this and I should have done that. And, I'm sure you already read when you read stuff, you don't just read it for the story, you read it and you're kind of subconsciously taking it apart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think I mentioned this in Rose's presence before, but the thing that scares me to death is that when I write book
Spiders.
7 in my Pratani, it's going to be over 500 pages because it's going to have to be that long. I'm like, I am scared to death that this is going to be the case. Oh
You
my
have
God,
not
I'm
said that to me
dreading that.
before.
Now I understand George R. What's his face?
George
George
R.
R. Martin much better now.
You just have to
Do you?
slowly increase the number until you get there. Just start saying 550, 560, you know?
Yeah, I might have to start working on that this year. But like, yeah, 550. I want to seem like I'm understanding and yeah, and then it'll
Your
max
editor
out
will
at
take care
whatever.
of that.
So,
He'll knock that down. But by all means, send him as many pages as you want.
ooh. So I have silly questions for you.
I love silly questions.
Okay, the first one is, what would the title of the unauthorized biography of your protagonist Nicholas be?
Life of a Sicko, I'd say. That
I
was
like it.
the kind of slang word for people that took on diseases in my book.
How did you manage? Because that kind of almost delves into sci-fi a little bit, right?
Definitely.
So how did you explain the ability to transfer a disease?
That gets, so I didn't actually explain it in book 1.
Magic.
Smart.
Magic. Book 2 does explain it. So book 1 is really more about Nicholas discovering what the world is. He really lives in this lower rung of society, and it turns out society is a lot bigger and a lot weirder than they have a picture of down in their lower rung. And then book 2 gets into explaining how it works, but I don't want to give that away.
So when you say lower rung, is this just like an actual kind of physical lower strata, or is it just figurative?
Yep, it's very much like city in a bottle type atmosphere. I don't want to give away why that is. There is a reason for it.
Okay.
That comes out at the end of the book.
So, is there an antagonist in this, or is it just the system that he's fighting against?
There is an antagonist. It is primarily the system that he's fighting against, and then grand reveal at the end that there is actually an antagonist behind that.
Nice.
I don't want, yeah. There's some cool twists, you know?
Do you watch a lot of movies?
I do.
Did any of that kind of inform building your world?
There is so much that is seeped in from movies and video games and other books that it's like, I'm constantly having people be like, Ian, did you watch Altered Carbon? And I'm like, of course I did. And I'm like, yes, of course that informed parts of my book.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then I've been likening the book to the BioShock franchise, if you guys play video games at all. Yeah, there's some great things that happen throughout the franchise that I think really parallel.
I think you'll find most people after a certain age, when there are what 4, 5, 8 buttons, 2 controllers.
I get it.
Just yeah, no. Give me a button to mash and a joystick to move, and I'm okay.
Exactly.
I'm okay with ASWD and a mouse, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
These
Fucking
days,
Game Boy controllers, no, or PlayStation controllers. Those would be thrown against the wall so fast.
This last Christmas, I actually got one of my Christmas wishes. I went into work and I brought my Atari 2600 and I played Space Invaders on a 84-inch 4K screen.
84. That's huge.
Yeah,
That would be hard to play on.
the
You'd have to
Space
look
Invaders
more.
were the size of my head.
Yeah.
As cool as that kind of is, Mike, all I can think of is you're a 50-year-old man who lives alone with a mannequin of a dude who's not behind you right now, and it kind of
Nope.
makes me wonder where he is, but I won't wonder too long on that. And that was your dream, was to play Space Invaders on a giant TV?
Yes.
Sounds pretty cool.
You need better dreams.
If you gave me time, I could find the picture and show you. But just trust me, it happened.
No, 84, 80. That is kind of cool. The little laser shots would be like the size of your arm.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Everybody else was like, "What's this? I've never seen it." I'm like, "Shut up."
I can only imagine adapting an old Atari to an HDMI cable. Like, how many little adapters did you have to put in there?
Well, it wasn't the true Atari 2600. It was the emulator. All the games were like 120 games were included, and it had to have like 6 megabytes of memory space.
So I was
spend like 5 hours trying to set that all up, and you get some old geezer come in and just kind of watch you for a while, then go up and turn the TV to channel 3, and instantly it would work. If you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I do.
But I did splurge for the cordless joysticks.
Oh, yeah.
Well then.
A nod to modernity.
You're a man of the people.
There are some nice things.
So what's your writing process like, Ian?
So I think a lot of this comes from being an athlete, but I write an hour a day, almost every day. I write from 4 to 5 a.m. While my daughter's still asleep. That's the time I have, so I use it. And
you get up at 4 a.m. to write?
I do. Almost every day.
God bless you.
Sometimes even with a hangover, which is ill-advised, I'd say. But my goal word count for a day is 500 words, which is really nothing. But I feel like if I can get that out, then it kind of prompts this constant creativity, where I can show up each day and I've thought about what I want to write the night before, and then I'm ready to write it that morning.
So do you ever like wake up at 4 o'clock and just think to yourself, I know what I want to write. It'll take me like 15 minutes to crank out 500 words. I can get another good half hour sleep.
Honestly, those mornings when I know what I want to write, I'm most excited to go and write.
Oh, okay.
It's the mornings where I'm like, I don't fucking know what to do. That's when it's like really hard to get out of bed. But I'm a morning person. I go to bed at like 7:30,
Wait a minute. Hold on, EL. 500 a day is a novel a week?
Yep.
Only if your novel is 3,500 words.
System or something.
Yeah. Those must be metric pages.
5,000 a day might be a novel a year. Oh,
Okay.
Well, that's different. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of my target. Is I want to be able to turn out a novel a year. That's a sustainable pace for me. So yeah.
A novel a year is a very comfortable, you can take a few months off in there if
Yeah.
you need to.
Yeah, yes,
right?
you can.
So, yeah, that's I do a lot. Ryan says he's older than you all. You mean EL?
I don't think I am.
I don't think you are either. I wasn't going to say it, but
So now, Ian, since we broached the subject, how old are you?
I'm 36. Actually, my birthday is this weekend. I'll be 36 this weekend.
well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
36. You remember 36, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
It's a good age.
It's the year I started working full time. No, sorry, 36. My bad. No, wrong. 26. My bad.
Say, what the hell were you doing for a decade and a half?
Sorry. 36 was 2006, so 2008 hadn't happened, so it was probably a good year.
Ryan's commenting on my bedtime. I do. People refer to it as a geriatric sleep cycle. It's. I'm okay with it. It's great.
But I mean, if you're getting up at 4,
Yeah.
I mean that there comes a point where, sleep wins. If it's whatever versus sleep, and you can fill in whatever you want.
Yep.
with whatever,
Yep.
okay, sleep at some point will win.
Especially with a toddler, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I definitely let sleep take priority. Normally, if she's asleep and I'm still awake, it's a question of like, why am I still awake?
Well, are you going to have another one?
No.
One and done. All right. Zero negative population growth. There we go. What are you drinking?
Wine tonight. I stole my wife's red wine.
We're a wine show now, Michael.
Sophisticated.
All right, there we go.
I would have done whiskey, but I'll save that for after the show.
Okay.
You probably should have saved it for before the show. Put down a whole bunch.
If you were just wearing a beret, that would have just completed the look.
Oh, no.
With the wine or the whiskey?
Oh, with the wine.
With
Either.
the wine. Yeah, definitely.
The beret would be a winner.
I'll bring the beret next time.
Was that Mrs. Patterson?
What's that?
Was that Mrs. Patterson you were looking at?
No. I'm in a room by myself.
Okay, I just saw you looking up to the right a little bit. I thought she was there, giving you one of those. Are these two crazy old bastards who you've been watching the last couple of nights?
What are you doing?
It's like, it's okay. Nobody will see it. Sorry.
Ooh.
So you've actually done pretty well review-wise. You've got like 40 something.
Yeah.
Which is nice, and they're good reviews.
Definitely.
If anybody out there is interested, do yourself a favor and Google worst reviewed book on Amazon, and then just go have fun. Follow the links. Have a good time.
It's not.
No, it's not yours. It is not yours. But I will say that the person who is listed there has like 700 reviews of a book. Now, 500 of them are 1-star reviews, right? But they've still got 700 reviews. I don't know. Part of me says, okay. It intrigues me enough. I'm not going to buy it, but I might,
Have you already ordered it though?
I have not. No. They've got an audio book and everything.
Wow.
What is the name of this book, Ro?
Oh, I forget. I took. Oh, hold on.
That is a kind of success. I agree.
Do we actually want to say the name of like one of the worst books on Amazon?
Well, my next question is, when is your birthday? So.
Oh, thank you. No.
A perfect present.
Yeah. How's that Lego set coming, Mike?
Right here.
Fucking mail it back.
So, in my plan, when I was finishing my book by the end of February,
right?
And now I'm hoping to finish it by the end of April.
April? You're April now?
This draft, not the whole thing. Then I said, as soon as I'm done with this draft, I'm going to put that together. And yeah, one misstep after another, and it's been kind of a disaster March for me. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that happens. You work with an outside editor, Mike?
Do what? Yeah.
You work with an outside editor?
Yeah, Ro is my editor.
Ro is nice.
Because Ro will be able. He will say things like, "I don't know what your point is here, but you need to make this clear," or something, which is perfect for me.
Or what the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. Because if you do like perhaps you should look at this passage again, I'm going to go, okay, delete comment, next. Yeah. I don't care. So Ro gives it to me straight, and I'm like, okay, I can't just brush that off. I have to read it first and then decide that he's wrong, and then save that comment a couple days and then go back and go, you know what? I have a solution to this problem, and it's just what Ro said, but I'm going to take credit, and that's generally how it goes.
And that's perfectly fine.
That's the relationship with a good editor.
I'm a big user of the comments on Microsoft Word.
Yep.
So like if you get something from me that I've edited, there's going to be the red marks and all that kind of stuff when the track changes, but there's going to be a boatload of comments off to the side. Yeah. And some of them will kind of you would look at them and say, but that's not And then later on, there'll be another one to say, okay, ignore that one back here. I figured out what the hell you were talking about, but maybe not make me wait so long for it.
I had one woman I had beta read my book.
Oh, thanks, EL.
Oh, don't tell him that. Oh my God. He's going to be even more insufferable. I had a woman beta read my book, and she put comments, and she's like, "I hate him. Kill him now." Just so before she's in the email, she's like,
How do you
"I
handle
think
that?
your book is well written. I really hated your main character. I'm pretty sure that's what you were going for here. So none of these are against you. It's just your character that I hate."
But if the character is supposed to be hated, you've written them well. You've elicited a reaction, right?
So, Ro, this is the character who you wrote, or you told me at one point, you said, if there's someone finds a dagger and sticks it in his neck, I'm totally okay with that as an ending.
Yeah. Again, you elicited a reaction.
So
look at Game of Thrones. Joffrey,
Everyone
right?
hated.
That little prick, when he died, how happy were you when he died?
Very happy.
And the fact that he died painfully.
Fantastic.
Right? It just made my little shriveled soul happy.
I think the worst beta reader feedback though is like, "I love it" or "good job." Like that's why you need people that are critical.
Right. So I've written 9 books and 2 novellas. My
Cool.
wife has read exactly none of them.
Really?
Really. And the reason she hasn't, and she has told me, is I don't want to read it and not like it. Right? She read a few pages of one of like 2 books ago and then said, "Do you know?" And she said something. It's like, that would have been really useful information before I published the book. Right? So she said she will try to read the one I'm working on now, because I told her, I don't want you to tell me, "Good job, I really like it," because that does fucking nothing for me.
Right.
That does not help at all.
I like to call my wife my alpha reader because she reads everything. I basically throw it at her until she reads it. And she reads a ton. So she has a really good idea of how stories should go.
Yeah.
And she's really good. I'll be like, "Hey, I'm in this plot hole." She knows the background of it, and we can talk it through. So it's actually a really nice thing.
I'm so jealous of you. I really am.
So, Ian, I have another silly question for you.
Okay.
And I want you to see how silly you can go with this.
Oh boy.
Oh, Jesus.
If you had to write a romance novel set on a spaceship, what would the most absurd obstacle be for the lovebirds to overcome?
Ooh, a lack of gravity. That's not very silly until you really picture it, and you're fighting through a lack of gravity to,
Been there, did that in a chapter, but yeah.
You would almost want to do it in a very small room so there was some bounce back.
Yeah, something to like push off of, maybe a harness. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my cringy chapter that's in there twice. Okay, fair enough. I was thinking you like nuclear meltdown or something, but hey, I mean, Zero G. Trust me, that was awkward. Like, okay, how does this work in Zero G? Yeah.
Not well. I won't even say it. Never mind. All right. What else you got, Mike? If anybody in the comments has a question they would like to ask Ian, go ahead and jump in there. I know you guys are always good for a few.
Very insightful, and I couldn't wait to ask a sci-fi author this, but it's kind of just parallel to what Ian's whole book is about. But in a future where memories can be bought and sold, how would you approach writing this story? But you just are transferring sickness instead of memories, but kind of the same roughly idea.
Yeah, and I think there was a book that came out recently with that premise. I can't remember the name of it though. I would definitely picture a dystopian society, right? Like you have a lower caste with no memories and an upper class caste with all the memories.
Well, the only thing I can think of right away of why someone would want to sell a memory is if it was like they were witness to a crime and the mafia was going to get them or something like that. or they knew something that the government didn't want them to know, and so they sold on their own their memory kind of thing. Um, but at least with the disease thing, there's a very valid reason why someone would want to do it.
I was thinking of that movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, if you guys saw it, where someone wants to cleanse an old relationship from his memory. It's kind of a breakup movie. It's really good though.
Did you must have seen The Green Mile?
I did not see The Green Mile.
You have not seen The Green Mile?
I did not.
And you wrote that book? Okay, so The Green Mile, you need to go watch it. It's based on a Stephen King thing, and it's got Tom Hanks in it, so 2 wins. But there's a guy in it who, by laying on hands, can absorb sickness.
Right. I did see it.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a while ago. And
Yeah,
I've read a lot of Stephen King, and I don't think I've read that one.
So if there's one thing I was confident of, it was that Stephen King is a hack who's never written a decent thing in his life. And I made the mistake of saying this to a booktuber, and he's like, read The Green Mile. There's no way you can not like that. So I got an audiobook, and I listened to it, and I was like, Andrew, I hate you. Now I can no longer say that Stephen King has never written a decent thing in his life. He's like, see, I knew you'd love it. I was like, well, love is a strong term. It was a good book. Do I want to read another Stephen King? No. Yeah. But it was a good book. So I've not seen the movie, but I've listened to the book.
So Ian, we have to ask you 2 questions. Mike will ask you a question that he is like 90-0 on. And I will ask you a question that I would say about a quarter of the people agree with me. So I'll go first. Okay. You've seen Harry Potter, right?
I have.
Who is the real hero of Harry Potter?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Hermione, only because she's my favorite character. And I know it's the wrong answer. I don't care.
No, I mean that's not my answer, but that's fine. I don't take offense to this like Mike will when you take the wrong thing here.
Okay, so
Severus Snape. That's actually probably valid. Yeah.
So picture this. You're in a harness, and you get to ride either of these creatures down the main street of your city. Would you rather be astride a griffin flying over top the city, or a T-Rex walking down the street causing destruction?
T-Rex, so I can look in their eyes.
Thank you. You got it right.
That's 1, Mike. Well done. Thank you, Ian. You've just made him happy. You've made an old man happy.
See, and this means
nobody ever picks the T-Rex.
I will ask the question next 10 shows now because of this.
Oh, fantastic. I don't mind. I think it's a nice little break there.
I also love the visual of a T-Rex wearing a harness with its tiny arms. Great.
I can't tighten it up. Fix my tire. Please don't use you're in a harness. Thanks for keeping it real, yo. So what's next? You're getting almost ready to finish your duology.
Correct.
Is there another series? Is it going to be in the same world, or are you going to try something brand new?
So I have a brand new story idea in a different world, a little bit more cyberpunky, that I'm starting to write to now. And then I also have some very different speculative literature ideas, one of which is done and I'm querying, and then some other ideas there. So I haven't decided which one I'll go to next.
How's the querying process going for you, and what made you decide to give that a shot?
Mostly shit, I'll be honest. It's not going well. I don't really know how to write a query letter super well, so that's a learning experience. And the reason I want that book to go with a traditional publisher is because I don't think that more spec lit, the more lit you go, I think it doesn't do as well in the self-published space. It's just harder to market.
Yeah.
But my kind of more genre fiction stuff, I want to keep self-published because I prefer that.
Did you think you would? I mean, do do the advertising and all that kind of nonsense part of it?
I
I didn't
did.
say nonsense. It's not nonsense at all. I mean, it's,
It's a little bit of nonsense. I did play the game, I'd say, for the few months after Transference released, and then I got really tired of paying Amazon just absurd amounts of money to do advertising. So I decided to put all that on pause, and I'm actually supporting a few friends' podcasts now, and they're doing some advertising at the start of that. That feels a lot better to me to do. And then beyond that, once I get Transcendence out, I'll approach advertising again.
yeah. I mean, there are enough shows like this out there now where you could do this every night for a year.
Yeah, that's fun. talk about myself and my books, like
Yeah.
that's great.
Hey, me. Yoo-hoo. Yeah.
Oh.
What do you think, Mike?
Is it time?
Yeah, I think your brother left, man.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think I offended him.
It was my beanie. It was probably my beanie or the mustache.
It could very well be.
We get a lot
Okay,
of beards
so
on the show. We don't get a lot of mustaches like that.
I did just trim. I normally do have a beard, but
Okay. Because that is a straight it's more refined than a porn stash.
thank you. I'll take that.
You know. It's a little thicker and it's Groucho Marx-esque.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
okay, so we were talking before we went live, and you were saying that you were thinking Micah would be a better candidate for the Bald Dome than Nicholas.
Better in that I think I'm a little more connected to his character right now.
Okay.
I think he'll perform worse in the Bald Dome, but I'm fine.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so you
gotta
know the
go find the
rules for the
potion.
Bald Dome?
Uh,
Rationale?
I'll take a refresher.
Okay, so we want to learn more about your character, in this case Micah, but we don't want you to give us spoilers.
Right.
So he is going to be transported away to a new place that he's never seen before. He's going to just have, his clothes, no weapons come with him. He'll have a flask that is full of a fizzy potion. What is your favorite color?
Ooh, let's go purple.
So it's a purple fizzy potion. It is 100% effective whether he uses it on himself or his adversary, but he has no idea what it does.
Did you say purple?
Purple,
did.
yes.
That's 2 purples in a row.
Really?
That's really bizarre because we almost never get purple.
So
It's the best color for a fizzy potion, if we're being honest. Like,
What's that?
it's the best color for a fizzy potion. I wouldn't want a brown fizzy potion.
You know purple's not really a color, right?
Tell me more.
I think it's purple. I was watching the show and they said that it doesn't exist. Maybe it's not purple. It was a color that we all see as a color, right? We all recognize the color, but it doesn't actually exist on the light spectrum. Our eyes just our brain makes it exist.
That makes me like it more, honestly.
Right? Yeah, but it's not actually out there. Mike, give me a D20, will you please?
sure. 16.
16. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, thanks.
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before. Does this count as my first experience?
No.
I've never played D&D, so no. So
Sorry.
Ro has decided that he thinks my potions suck, so he has taken over the potion duty.
Okay.
But your character has been transported just as close. He goes to, what is this, number 6, which is, give me a second, a floating island suspended in the sky.
Okay, fun.
He has a purple fizzy potion, and now this is where he gets a choice. He can choose a common item, and he will face a common animal, or he can choose a weapon, and he will face a fantasy creature. Which does he choose?
I'm going to say Micah is not a weapon type of character, so he's definitely going to go for the common item.
Okay, he is the proud owner of 2 pewter plates.
Oh, he loves them. Yeah.
He could have got a bastard sword, but no, he has 2 pewter plates.
Very
But
useful.
instead of facing off against, what is 15, a bloodthirsty vampire, he only has to face off against a ferocious and angry Bengal tiger.
Oh, okay. A tiger.
In this floating city on an island in the sky, with his purple fizzy potion, his 2 pewter plates. He's walking around exploring the city, making sure that he doesn't fall into a manhole because that would end badly. And he
Why,
turns the corner
why would it end badly?
because you go through the manhole and you just keep falling down to the.
Who the hell digs a hole that makes you die if you step through it?
It's
And
my world.
why would you dig that hole and then put a cover over it?
It's just a sewage system, you just let it.
Yeah.
You let
Oh,
everyone.
okay. Yep, fair. How about
As
that?
you go over the people who can't afford to live on the flying islands, you just drop your waste there.
Nice. Charming.
So he skips the manhole so he doesn't trip on it or anything. He turns the corner and lo and behold, there is a Bengal tiger that is crouching. It looks up at him and it just kind of goes still, like it's freezing for a second before it pounces.
And your character's looking for the hidden dragon.
Oh,
What does Micah do next with his pewter plates?
does he have to use the pewter plates?
No, he does not. He can put them away and save them if he survives this outcome, and he'll have 2 pewter plates.
I think Micah would like to charm the Bengal tiger.
How does he charm?
Maybe like a here kitty kitty, or like a tis tis tis.
How often does that work generally?
I have 2 cats. I'd say 50% of the time.
Okay, a 1 or a 2, and I will give it to you. And yep, okay. A little bit. You're going to have to keep doing it. It's not going to be something that's going to work and be done.
So maybe Micah sits
On the
a
harness.
little bit closer and go in for a pet behind the ear. He's a real animal guy.
Do you want me to roll?
Real dinner guy here in a second. Yeah, he's still getting away with it.
Hey, Ro.
You don't want Mike to ever roll.
I rolled, and it's a natural 20.
Is that good? Is that
Yeah,
good?
that's
good.
unheard of for Mike.
Yeah. Normally, I don't roll higher than a 6.
A natural 20 means you could not only pet it behind the ears, you could get behind it and take it home for dinner, and it would never say anything bad.
It looks like Micah has a new pet.
Does he use the fizzy potion at all?
I'm going to say that just for fun, because Micah's a little bit of a chaos gremlin, he's going to drink the fizzy potion now, after all this is done.
Okay. So I don't know if you're so you drink the fizzy potion and you burp. And as a result of your burp, you end up 5 feet to your right.
Oh, wow.
Carry on.
Great. Still have a pet cat. Things
Yeah.
turned out okay.
But you're burping, and every time you burp, you move 5 feet in a random direction.
Hopefully not off the edge of the island. But
Yeah, hopefully not in a manhole.
You know what? Let's see if we can roll a series of the same number, just for fun. If we roll this number 3 more times in a row, you do exactly that. Let's see. Uh-oh, 3, 3, 3. One more time and you're off. Oh, you're so lucky. Okay. Nope, you'll be okay.
does Micah have any food with him that he could offer to the cat on the pewter plates?
You're telling the story, so
Yeah, you go ahead. You tell us what happens now that you have this.
yeah. I
This
mean, there could be a
Bengal tiger
food stall
pet cat.
there.
Great.
Yeah.
So Micah loves Taiwanese food because I also love Taiwanese food. So he's going to order some really spicy dumplings, and he's going to serve those to the cat, and also enjoy some himself. Oh, cat! Yeah, he's got catnip in his pocket, definitely.
You're going to give a tiger spicy food.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Go ahead, Mike. Roll a 20. See what happens.
12.
Yeah, I thought he was going to roll a 1 or something, but the cat just comes up and rips your head off. Yeah, 12. You got to be careful. All right.
Okay, so I think that your character lives.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that natural 20. I really came through for you that time. Normally I
Micah
roll
came
4s.
through and he charmed your dice also.
He must have done because Mike never rolls a 20.
Yeah, he was a really fun character to write. The prequel I just got done with has a ton of banter in it, and he's very flamboyant and definitely not like a strong, aggressive character. Yeah. Everyone on the subcontinent loves spicy food. Yeah.
So how do you make a non-strong kind of main character your main character? What is it about him that makes him relatable? Well, I guess relatable. I get that. But what makes people want to follow him and do whatever crazy shit that you have him doing?
I think the stakes are different. They are very much emotional stakes and
Yeah.
not physical stakes.
Well, wait a minute. People are getting diseased, right?
Oh, sorry. No, this is the prequel. This is
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, Mike is going through a hard time. It's kind of the end of Earth, the last days of that, and I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, definitely more emotional stakes than physical stakes.
Well, yeah, the end of Earth. I mean, that's also kind of a hard sell too, right? Because I mean, I think generally at that point it's like, yeah, what the fuck, you know,
That's why he's going to try and charm that tiger.
we got nothing to lose at this point. Why not? At least you'll have a story to tell for the last 10 days of your existence. Right. So you need to get to bed early so you can get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is just insane, by the way. And I don't care how much EL says that really shows your passion, which it does, and your commitment, which it does. But it's still 4 in the morning, which is just too damned early.
So I have a question for you.
Definitely.
20 years in the future, Elon Musk somehow has managed to get his city on Mars. And through a lottery system that someone entered you into, you get a free ticket where you can go and live on Mars for the duration of your life. Do you go or not?
What does the Earth look like at this point?
20 years in the future.
I think definitely not. I'm not leaving the wife and the kids behind. And also, I can only imagine that Elon Musk's Mars is an actual hellscape.
Well, not for the people at the top like him.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think that should be your first question. Is he going?
Yeah, right.
Oh, at that point, he will have been there for 10 years.
It'll turn out like the Boring Company did. Very good.
What the hell was I going to ask you? God dang it. Yeah, I don't know.
Guys, it was a lot of fun being on here.
I'm sorry, I forgot the question. That's bad.
No worries.
I usually do it, but I usually remember it. So
This is what you have to look forward to, Ian, in 20 years when you're not on Mars.
Do not go slowly into that good night.
Is it bad that it's happening already?
Yeah.
What does that
Oh yeah,
mean?
I remember. I do remember. So at your work, because I've never worked at a really fun place like that. Do you like to go out and ride and stuff at like lunchtime? They give you time to like go out and do they have like a little kind of circuit around the place where you can go out and ride?
So we have both trails that we've built right behind the office, and we're nestled next to some other city parks that you can ride in. So for example, I took an hour and a half lunch today. I went for a bike ride. I took a shower. I crashed my bike. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad.
How was the bike? Was it all right?
The bike was okay.
Yeah, and now, how about you? Because that's the order you do these things in, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm a little scraped up. I'm fine though. But that's kind of that is one of the perks for sure. And it's still like it is a fun job, but it's still very hard. We do super serious engineering. We sell millions of parts a year, so like huge statistical validation behind everything. It's a ton of work.
But you must have like a hell of a healthcare system though, right? Because if they have you out there riding dirt bikes at lunchtime on company time, your health plan must be fantastic.
It is really interesting. So if we are testing parts and we say that we're testing parts and we crash, then that will be workman's comp. But if we are out there just riding for fun, not workman's comp. So as an example, I shattered my wrist. I was actually on prototype parts, but it wasn't a test ride. I was just out there having fun. And not workman's comp. So we do have good healthcare, but it's also good to carry like accident insurance.
So of all the bikes in your garage, how many of them have components that nobody else has yet?
Uh,
Mike is like, what are you talking about? But this
No, I
this
like
all
this
intrigues
question.
me.
I like this question a lot.
all of them.
All of them? Yeah.
To some extent. Yeah, I think all of them. It's always hard to keep track of because we forget when things release. And so it's like, is this a prototype still? Is this not? I don't know.
So you see somebody on the street with a fixie. Are you thinking, oh, that's cool, or you're a douche?
In Colorado Springs, I'm thinking you're a douche because there are major hills here, like
Right.
San Francisco level steep hills, and no one wants to ride a fixie on that. As someone that used to ride a fixie on flat ground, you don't want to do that on hills.
And on your campus, do you have unicycle guy?
Uh, Not that I've seen, actually, which is a bummer.
Really? I live next to Virginia Tech,
Okay.
and there's you drive through campus all the time, and there's always one unicycle guy. This guy's probably riding, guys, he's riding like probably 32s or a little bit wider than that. It's a really big tire for you, not like one of those little clown tires, you know, they're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
proper big wheels.
A big mountain unicycle. That is a thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is.
I have a funny Colorado story about unicycles. So my first trip over to Aspen, and Aspen does kind of live up to all of the stories about Aspen. You go through this crazy pass to get there called Independence Pass, and we get to the summit. It's 11,500 feet. We're going down, and it is just a line of traffic going super slow, going 10, 15 miles an hour. And I can see some people are passing someone up in front of us. What is this? What's going on? And we finally get sight of what is holding up everyone. And it's a guy on a unicycle, shirtless, barely wearing shorts, probably butt length, white hair just trailing behind him on a unicycle going down Independence Pass.
Going down one of those hills?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. That was my introduction to Aspen.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm one of those guys, even on a road bike, I will ride the brakes after a certain speed.
Yep.
And going on a unit, no.
He might have had like a handbrake or I don't know. I passed him and shook my head and was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay,
Takes
I
all
have
kinds.
to ask, what is a fixie?
It's a fixed gear bicycle, so it can't coast.
Oh,
And it only has one speed, which is not optimal.
that sounds terrible.
Remember the bikes you had when you were a kid with a banana seat
Yeah. Okay.
and the coaster brakes?
They
Yep.
were really popular on college campuses for a number of years. Maybe still are.
Bikes generally not so much. Well, at least not at VT. Don't see a lot of bicycles around. So this new generation, yeah.
They're probably riding virtual bikes or something.
They're probably riding Uber is what they're riding.
Yeah, probably that.
All right. Hey, Ian, thank you very much for hanging out with us, and drop us a line when your next book comes out,
Will do.
and hit us up. Mike's still on the Twitter machine, and we have a Bald&Balding Twitter thing, and
Cool.
you can find me on Blue Sky.
Cool.
So send us your link when you have your reveal, and we'll forward it on to whoever's interested.
That's
Whoever's
fantastic.
out there, our millions and millions of followers, or our 403, I guess, as it is, whatever it is.
That's a pretty big audience. Like realistically, that's pretty cool.
Okay. Thanks for making us feel good.
I've got 40 reviews, so you guys are like 10 times my size.
I had my first book out in 2018, and I don't have 40 reviews yet. So
Okay. Well, I really appreciate the time. It was a blast on here. It was cool talking with both of you. Yeah.
Yep. Think about us tomorrow when you're up at 4 and we're not.
I'll shoot you a message.
Okay,
And
well,
everybody else, Mike, when are we back doing this again?
we are back. Today is what, Thursday? So we are back April
31st?
Fool's Day.
Oh, I thought it was.
Just put on the schedule. So you
All
probably haven't
right.
seen it yet. We're back April 1st for real.
Hold on. What day is that? That's a
That's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
All right, cool.
So,
We'll see y'all Tuesday, everybody.
Awesome.
okay. Take care.
Thank you.